It was a still Tuesday morning when a knock echoed at my door. I wasn't expecting company. No deliveries, no scheduled visits. Yet there he was, a man in a crisp suit, clutching a manila folder like it carried the weight of the world. "Mr. Carter?" he asked. "Yes," I answered. "I'm here on behalf of your wife. You've been served." I froze, staring at the envelope in his hand. "My wife?" I repeated. He nodded, his tone clipped and professional. "Your wife, Emily Carter, is suing you for $10 million. The details are inside the summons." For a heartbeat, time stood still. Then the word slipped out of me, sharper than I intended. "My wife died 5 years ago." His composure cracked instantly. The folder trembled in his grip. I'm sorry, sir. There must be some mistake." "No mistake," I said, steady but firm. "Emily passed away. A car accident. 5 years ago this October." The color drained from his face. He scrambled to flip open the file, rifling through papers with shaking hands. "I was hired by her attorney. They assured me she was alive." I invited him in. He looked rattled, though for reasons different than mine. While he settled on the couch, I went to the shelf and pulled down a small wooden box. Inside were the documents I had kept all these years, Emily's death certificate, hospital records, even the obituary printed in the local paper. He looked them over, his disbelief written across his face. This can't be. Someone filed this claim under her name. They even provided ID and signed affidavits. That's when the cold truth hit me. Someone was impersonating Emily. But who? And why? I didn't have to wait long for an answer. 2 days later, an unknown number lit up my phone. A woman's voice, bright, almost mocking, said, "Hello, darling." Surprised to hear my voice. It wasn't Emily, but the way she spoke. She knew how to mimic her, down to the tone and cadence. Only one person could pull it off that convincingly. Emily's sister, Vanessa. Vanessa had always lived in Emily's shadow. Jealous, competitive, always resentful. At our wedding, her toast was supposed to be heartfelt, but instead it felt like a warning. She half joked that if anything ever happened to Emily, she'd happily take her place. I had brushed it off as bitterness. Clearly, I shouldn't have. "Vanessa, what the hell is this?" I demanded. She laughed lightly. "Oh, Daniel, did you really think Emily left you everything? Half of that fortune should have been mine. I'm just taking what's owed." "By fraud? She's dead, Vanessa." "Is she?" she replied, her voice dripping with false innocence. "Because legally, the loopholes in inheritance law are fascinating. A few forged signatures, a few gullible officials, and suddenly I am Emily." It was revolting. She had faked documents, stolen Emily's identity, and launched a fabricated divorce case to seize my assets, with the help of people willing to look the other way. But she underestimated me. The next day, I reached out to a private investigator I had worked with years ago. Within a week, he handed me a file that tore Vanessa's scheme apart. Surveillance of her meeting with crooked legal fixers, audio recordings where she bragged about suing her dead sister's husband, and a paper trail of corruption. And it wasn't just her. The investigation revealed a network of accomplices: a lawyer who knowingly filed a fraudulent suit, a notary who forged Emily's signature, and even a court assistant who had been bribed to push the case forward. Vanessa had built her scam on the belief that grief would silence me and bureaucracy would bury the truth. She was wrong. Armed with the evidence, I filed a countersuit for fraud, identity theft, and conspiracy. Authorities raided her home and found a room dedicated to her scheme. Walls lined with forged IDs, fake legal drafts, and a twisted inheritance plan laid out like a crime show detective board. The trial was public. For the first time, Vanessa's smug grin slipped as the charges were read aloud. Her plot to rewrite history for profit became national headlines. But what cut the deepest wasn't her greed. It was what it meant for Emily's memory. Emily had loved her sister, defended her flaws, believed in second chances. She would have been heartbroken to see her memory weaponized like this. In the end, Vanessa was sentenced to 8 years in prison. Her partners faced fines, career-ending disbarments, and fraud convictions. The lawsuit didn't just collapse. It became a case study in systemic corruption. When it was over, I finally went back to Emily's grave. I hadn't visited in months. Life and grief had blurred together into something numb. But standing before her headstone, I felt something I hadn't in years: closure. "Guess what, Em?" I whispered. "Vanessa tried to take your place. Pretended to be you. But she forgot. There's only one Emily Carter." The breeze stirred the trees, and for a moment, I swore I heard her laugh in the wind. Months passed. Life began to steady again, though I wasn't the same. Betrayal changes how you see the world. I started volunteering with a legal aid group, helping people who had been deceived the way I had. For me, it wasn't only about moving on. It was about proving that truth, no matter how buried, will always surface. Vanessa thought she could erase the past, forge a life that wasn't hers. But some things can't be stolen. Some legacies, some names, remain untouchable.